restaurants. They even went through their trash. So this is another reason why peace groups and certainly law professors have to be very concerned now about this misinterpretation that says advocacy for human rights. I just have to mention, we have a famous Minnesotan who wrote 3 Cups of Tea, and he obviously sets up schools in Pakistan and Afghanistan. His name is Greg Mortensen. Obviously, people like him and Jimmy Carter are even at peril, given this wide discretion now to say that anyone who works in a foreign country, even for peace or humanitarian anti-torture purposes, could somehow run afoul of the Patriot Act.
The Church Committee in the 1970s really blew the lid open on CIA spying at home, and also guidelines, then regulations were passed afterwards. How do they apply today when Americans are being surveilled, infiltrated, spied on at home?
Well, that's another one of the factors. Besides this Supreme Court ruling, right after 9/11, the Attorney General began to erode those guidelines. He basically said that FBI agents could go into mosques and places like that to monitor. So that was the beginning. Almost the last official act that Bush did in 2008 was that he totally erased those prior AG guidelines. There is really no need to even show factual justification now. The presumption is entirely reversed. And basically, the FBI need only say that they were not targeting a group solely based on their exercise of First Amendment rights. So the presumption really did, again, a complete flip-flop. And, of course, that's why you see these various scandals now coming out. It should be no surprise to someone that if there's no restraints, the green light is on, that you see, of course, that I actually kind of sympathize with the FBI. I used to train these agents, and I can understand the enormous pressure they're under. And of course, this is why it's so incredibly important to get the word to the officials who are in charge of using their discretion, that they should use their discretion to look for real terrorists instead of to go after peace groups.
Just Sundin, what are your plans now? I mean, over the weekend, I saw online the video of your mass emergency meeting. Many people came out for this, rallying around, and also talked about the RNC 8, the 8 people who were preemptively arrested in the lead-up to the Republican convention, all charged on terror counts. All of those terror counts have been dropped now, but it certainly was a very frightening time. What are your plans now?
Well, as you mentioned, in the Twin Cities, we had a meeting the night that the raids happened. There were more than 200 people who gathered, and really every organization in the Twin Cities, but I'd say countless organizations across the country, have contacted us to ask us how they can help. There will be today and tomorrow, as you mentioned earlier, demonstrations in at least 20 cities around the country. We've had word of plans for demonstrations at embassies in other countries as well, at U.S. embassies. So one of the things we're doing is trying to call attention to what's happened and really make it clear to people that we have done nothing wrong. There is no basis to the claim that we've in any way given support to terrorist organizations, but in fact, we are being there's attention on us because of our work in the anti-war movement, and in particular, our perspective of solidarity with people in the countries where the U.S. war and militarism are happening. We, following up on these demonstrations, are going to be pulling together a network of people from many of these organizations that have expressed their concern. Folks who want to get tied into that can find us through the Anti-War Committee website, which is very outdated. We're doing our best to get it up. Of course, as we explained, all of our computers were seized. So we're doing a lot of catch-up, trying to get ourselves organized. And of course, we're also very concerned with making legal plans to protect ourselves. A number of people have been called before a grand jury in Chicago, and we, don't want to be, a case to be framed up around us. All of us are quite confident that nothing that was found in our homes will give substantiation to the claims against us, and there's in fact no charges against us. But we want to do everything we can to both protect ourselves legally